as if you follow the Dumpster Fire Project, you know that we're not experts. So these are things that, and there's a lot more in 5. But my first one, don't want to get off topic already, my very first one, key resource, and this is going to be a great one if you're starting out and you need that kind of kick in the ass to get moving, or it's good when you get stuck. I still go back to it quite a bit. And that is Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, his first book. But in this early book, you kind of get a look at his story and kind of his background. So it lends credibility to his story, at least in my opinion. He talks about building Wine Library, in the early 2000s when YouTube was a brand new platform, how he was able to transform his parents', liquor store essentially from a $3 million a year business into a $60 million a year business, based primarily on using the internet for his business. The book talks about finding your medium. So maybe you're, like myself, I kind of gravitated towards YouTube, and we're even putting our podcasts on YouTube. But maybe you're a writer and you want to start a blog, or maybe you're kind of new and you're really jumping into Instagram and TikTok, but it teaches you to find your medium. And once the book's theme is kind of centered around finding your passion, what you're good at, and what you love to do. And it literally can be anything. He's got stories from real people in the book that do the stuff that you would think is crazy. Like, I don't know, like we talked about making muffins in one of our episodes. I hate to keep bringing that up, but it could be literally like, I'm a muffin taster. And you think that's ridiculous, but you can make $100,000 a year on it if you follow the playbook in this book, because people have done it before. And then finally, the book, it's good with, it doesn't feed you a lot of the bullshit, get rich overnight kind of stories. It really tells you that this is a long process. You have to build your brand, and you have to have patience, and you have to be in it for the long run. He even talks about his own business and starting Wine Library, how he had hardly any subscribers for the longest time until it finally took off. If you're thinking about starting a business or a side hustle, or you're stuck, this is my first key resource. You got to read Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk.
Number 2. So when I was thinking about starting my business, I knew I did not want to go back to the traditional schooling. So a lot of people go back for their MBAs, whatever that might look like. To me, that was just, it'd be like pulling teeth. I knew the day I graduated, I was done with that kind of learning. So I knew specifically I needed to go out, find the right resources to talk to, whatever that looked like. And nowadays, just with technology and all the online classes, I found the perfect master's class that taught me everything I needed to in the niche that I wanted to get into. I had heard the person talking on a podcast, and the master class is called The Foundation, and it's specific to helping people start SaaS companies, create apps, whatever it is. But that's only 50% of it. The reason I really like this is because it was very real and down to earth. And he focused on the emotional trials that you have to go through. Think of it as an investment in yourself. And it doesn't really feel like you're investing in something you don't care about when you're so passionate about it. That's how you have to make sure that you're finding that right niche or the market that you want to be in. So for me, it was finding that master class. It's called The Foundation. When I exited it, they were changing up the structure a little bit. I would still highly recommend it just based on, I'm sure the backbone of it is still there. I personally felt I got as much as I could out of it. But again, I was in it for a while. I even stuck around just to support the community and hear their stories and share some of mine. So overall, it was a really good experience. I left on good terms. I let them know that. So I'm more than happy to promote them. Again, we're not getting, we're not affiliated with these. We're not getting paid, but
we're not getting paid nothing from nobody. We're paying a lot of money to do this podcast. So
yeah, exactly.
Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah. But overall, it was a good experience.
I think this is a really good resource, again, if you're just starting out and also throughout the process. And that is Think Media, which is by Sean Cannell and his team there. They have about 1.35 million subscribers. Last checked at the time of recording this podcast, 735 videos available. Very high quality content. It varies from very basic entry level stuff all the way up to like some expert stuff on how to kind of learn the algorithms with YouTube. For me, the reason that I picked this is because when I got into this, I'd been out of the computer stuff for so long that everything had changed. And when I found the Think Media channel, I mean, they literally had a video called How to Start a YouTube Channel in 2019 or 2018, whenever I started it. And just by watching that easy to digest step-by-step video, and he left links in the description, I was able to find my camera that I needed. I was able to find the video editing software. I was able to learn the strategy and the how-to in like a 15-minute video. If you're just starting out and you want to promote your business and you don't know where to start with YouTube, check out the Think Media channel.
One of the key books was called Reinvent Yourself. And I apologize if I butcher your name, but it's James Altucher. One point that he sticks to and runs through the entire book, it's all based around just businesses and learning lessons, but there's so many different famous people that he went and talked to, and he even talked about how it was a struggle to even get in a room with some of these people, and how that experience went during it. But not every little story had something that I resonated with, but he had talked to so many people that there was enough in there for me. I was just like, wow, there's so many different unique viewpoints, and yet they all apply to what I'm doing or help me in somehow, some way. So it felt like a bunch of mini books inside of a book. And you could really resonate with some of them because you knew the famous people, or somehow, some way you even knew their backstories a little bit. So even the one little story he discusses in there, you really understood or almost felt what they were going through and could connect to it. So for me, that it was cool because there were so many learning lessons inside of one book.
Number 5, key resource, at least something in our opinion, has been definitely key.
Yeah. And that's going out and finding an accountability partner. And there's so many different ways to do this. If you can find one in person, whether, it doesn't necessarily have to be your best friend. I mean, Eric and I lucked out here, so I'm very thankful for that. But even if it's somebody...
We've been together for a long time, Murray.
Yeah.
Long time.
You can also do it through books or social media, anything on YouTube. Yeah. You can find inspiration. What I was going to say. Yeah.
There's a lot of groups you can join. There's a lot of, like, for example, the area that I'm in with doing this, essentially kind of a basically professional speaking, but training. There's a Facebook group that I'm a part of, where everybody in the group is doing that. So it's nice to see what everyone's going through, what the struggles are, chime in. And even, for us, the way it conceptualized is that we do this podcast, and that's how we hold each other accountable. Because this is talking about holding each other accountable. We had an episode not too long ago where we talked about wanting to go outside our comfort zone, and kind of like you mentioned that book, getting in with famous people. We're trying to go out and get more qualified guests. Because what do we do? Tonight, we gave you 5 key resources for 2 dipshits that don't know what the hell they're doing. They're filming a podcast with a bunch of ham radios in the background in their bedroom. So we're trying to go out and get the people to teach us and to hopefully share it with the listeners. And we have a couple of good ones lined up. All right. So there you have it. 5 key resources. The links to those resources are available in the description below. Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate it. We will see you next time.
Bye.